And now it's time to sip the coffee and spill the tea on Talking with 3D Live. Here's your host, Derrick Dixon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Talking with 3D Live. I'm your host, Derrick Dixon, and this is where we always sip the coffee and spill the tea. Listen, before we even get started, do me a great big favor. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure that you click it, love it, share it, do all those things. Make sure that everybody that you know knows about Talking with 3D Live. Also, when you're watching the show, couldn't even get that out, but when you're watching the show, make sure that you leave a comment. Let us know how you feel about the show. Let us know about new shows that you want to see. If you want to be a part of the show, email us at talkingwith3dlive@gmail.com. That's all you have to do. But right now, sit back, enjoy the show, because I have a special guest here with me, my friend, my brother, someone I've been knowing for a good long time now. David Lloyd Marcus is sitting in the studio today. And if you don't know David Lloyd Marcus, I don't know where you've been. So we are going to reintroduce him, and let everybody know David Lloyd Marcus and what he's got going on and coming up right here in the DMV again. So Mr. David Lloyd Marcus, how you doing, sir?
Derrick, thanks for having me, man. This is nice.
Thank you.
This is nice. I just feel honored anytime, you call and people say little old me, I'm a humble guy, a confident guy, but I'm laid back and not in the, if you really notice, I'm not in the DMV film mix.
Yeah, and you really are not.
You know what I mean? For my films to be as popular as they are, I'm not in even though I'm cool with a lot of people, but I'm not in the DMV film mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're right.
Award shows and things like that.
Yeah. You do your thing, and then you'll back out for a while, and then here we come again. Bam.
Then we come again.
Here comes David Lloyd Marcus.
But I keep in touch with the good people.
You really do.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I enjoy about our relationship. Mm-hmm. Because I can call you, you can call me, and if I need to vent, if I need ideas, if I just need somebody just to talk to, David Lloyd Marcus is there for me.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of times you always say, you don't have to call me David Lloyd Marcus, but I love to say it.
I like it. Do you know I didn't used to like my middle name?
Yeah, because you always used to tell me, don't call me David.
Yeah, I'm talking about I use it now on social media since I started film, but growing up, I don't know, I just felt like.
But that's your trademark.
Yeah, I know, but you grow up in your hood, Lloyd just didn't feel like a cool hood name.
It was like Darrell.
Yeah.
Darrell.
But it was like, no.
That's all, Derrick Dixon, that's my name.
No, but I love my name now. Like I said, just the name David is a powerful name, and then Lloyd named after my grandfather and my uncles,
Yeah.
So, and my uncle, that Lloyd is kind of big time, both of them actually.
Yeah.
So, I love the name now, embrace it.
Well, I appreciate you being here because, again, it's an honor to even know you, watch your work, and see what you're doing, because it's sitting here with you, it's like, you know what, I'm ready to see that moment. Mm-hmm. That, I was like, he was sitting right here in my studio. Mm-hmm. Now, look at him. He's up there getting his...
I'm ready for it too.
He's hitting off that. So,
I'm ready for that moment too.
Yeah, so these moments like this to me, I cherish, and I keep them stowed away so that way I can pull it back out. Mm-hmm. And then when TMZ calls me and everything, like, oh, hold on, I got a little moment I need to tell you about. Right. So listen, I want to tell everybody a little bit about you. You're the owner of and the CEO of Wiseman Productions. Mm-hmm. You're an author, screenwriter, director, and a producer. Mm-hmm. David, where did you find the love of film?
That's a great question, because it's like the love started when I was around 11 or 12 years old. And I didn't know I loved it, but my uncle back in the day, around holiday time, remember the big camcorders that you put on the shoulder with the VHS back in the day? And so he had me and my cousins, and he was showing us how you can make he can record and make it like you disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And pop back up. And so I kind of just got fascinated with how the camera worked, and just with him showing me that, I made like a little home movie. So my first film was like my little cousins and my brother, like my stars, and I made a little kung fu flick. Once he showed me how to disappear, I said, what if they throw a punch and they disappear? And then it's like, and we had this little script, and we played it out, and I would play the videos at holidays. And then my uncle was like, you like the camera? And he just kind of left the camera with me, like 11 or 12, and they were expensive back then. But I guess he saw my love for it, and I was doing my thing. And then it's like, you don't know purpose and all that things.
Yeah.
Everybody's not Michael Jackson.
Right.
Where you know when you like 11
We
or
didn't
12.
all have a Joe Jackson,
Yeah.
growing
But
up.
my uncle, I give him, and God rest his soul, that's my uncle that just passed.
Yeah.
But my uncle saw my passion and gave me that camera, and so I would do a lot of videos with my brothers, and then like, of course, stop the camera now. I'm done with it. I'm older. I'm doing business. And one day I was in the car business since I was 19. And so in my early 30s, I remember sitting at my desk one day, and I called my friend Brandy and said, I'm supposed to be doing something else.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
Had no idea. I said something involving a lot of people and touching people. And then it seemed like the moment I started getting poked like that, like the Yellow Brick Road, it was like little nuggets along the way that year. Then I saw I had a movie idea that popped in my mind. I was like, let's see how to pitch a movie. And I wrote a premise and would have my customers read it at the dealership.
Yeah.
And then they loved it and they were entertained. It was just like, and then from there I saw BET had a film competition. So then my mind started thinking.
Today's episode of Talking with 3D Live is brought to you by IRoseFilms. IRoseFilms photo booth will capture every special event, from birthday parties, weddings, baby showers. They also specialize in 360 booths, also videography. So please make sure that anytime that you have a special event, contact IRoseFilms, IRoseFilms.com.
Maybe I could shoot this little film idea myself and enter the competition. And it seems like that ever since I tapped into that, I haven't been able to let it go since.
Stop, yeah, yeah.
And we lost the dealership that same year. And then I was still, and that was when I wrote my first book.
Wow. So writing your first book, tell us about that moment when you knew, I have to write this.
Like I said, when the dealership closed and I was sitting, the idea just started coming to me. I always tell people, I don't write unless I'm inspired. And it seems like every project so far, it's been kind of do this idea. And it's almost like the story forms in my head first, and I just have to get it out. And I just started, I remember, I was like, okay, I studied how to pitch a film. Let me start researching how to write a book, because I didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of wrote my chapter titles out first, like what I wanted to talk about. And then I would just go in on each chapter, and it was just flowing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think this might be what a gift is. How easily I wrote that book.
Right.
And then the fact that I had success like that with my first book, had everybody waiting on and all. And I was like, that was when I started kind of realizing that thing that was happening to me at the dealership when I was wondering what it was, I think it's this right here.
Yeah, preparing you.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be, because this kind of came easily. I'm seeing how the world is, well, not the world, but DMV at that moment is taking to this self-published book that I put out. And it's like I'm running off hundreds and hundreds of copies and keep getting them. And I'm like, okay, well, people seem to like what I have to say.
Let's stay here.
Maybe I am going to be touching a lot of people this way.
Right.
And
what was the title of your first book?
Ouch, This May Hurt.
Ouch, This May Hurt.
Ouch, This May Hurt.
Yeah, and that's where Dr. Ouch.
That's where Dr. Ouch was birthed. I came up with that concept with being a doctor on the cover, because I said the doctor, gives you what you want, not what you need. It gives you what you need, not what you want.
Right.
And I said the ouch just may hurt because the truth hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just been my writing style ever since, that raw, in your face, yeah. So that's where Dr. Ouch came from.
The first time that I was actually introduced to David Lloyd Marcus, you came to our church and you had the book
I
Naked.
forgot about that.
Yes.
I forgot about
That's how I was introduced to who David Lloyd Marcus was. And you came and spoke at our church about the book and had so many different nuggets within the book.
That was Ouch Just May Hurt.
Was that
Ouch Just May Hurt. I just had a shirt that said naked on.
Yes.
Because that was kind of my theme for the
Gotcha.
message. Like, we're going to get naked today.
Right.
And the whole church was like, whoa, what?
Right.
What?
Yeah, like, what we talking about? We like, praise the Lord.
Yeah. But I was just like, the naked truth, we're going to strip it down. We
Yes.
not going to sugarcoat none of this
Right.
today. And then that's when I went into it.
And just your articulation and all the nuggets and all the points were hit home. They hit you as a person. And I remember Patricia Smith. She was like, you need to go talk to this guy. You need to meet him.
You know, that's my cousin.
That's your cousin.
Yeah.
Yes. So she introduced us.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, okay. And then you did a movie, Walk in My Shoes, 2018.
Right.
And it was so funny because I had sent in, because I was like, oh, that's David Lloyd Marcus, and he's doing a movie and everything. So I sent in, my resume, my headshot and everything to you. The funniest thing is when I got a message from you and you were like, okay, meet me at the mall, meet me in the food court. Right. I was like, who in the hell?
And I bought a Sharpie, remember?
Sharpie. I was like, who is meeting me in the food court?
Look, that's all I had in the car when I had the contract, and I said, I have a pen. I said, and I got a Sharpie. He said, let's use the Sharpie.
Let's use the Sharpie. Let me sign away. So I worked with you, Walk in My Shoes, 2018.
Yeah.
First feature film.
First feature film. We made some noise too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are big on making sure that you support the DMV, where you're from, your area, everything that David Lloyd Marcus was birthed from. You go back and you give homage to those areas, to those people.
Yes, I do.
Why is that important to you, David?
Because it's like, I feel like New York and Yonkers, and we can name all of these places that we wouldn't know without the artists putting it on and like making sure that we know where they from and that it's a dope place to be from.
Yeah.
And that it's everything that makes you who you are. So I'm just like, man, in my works, people gonna know where I'm from and who we are too.
Yeah.
So I say all the time, the DMV, like when everybody asks me like, so you gonna go to LA? I'm like, man, I wanna build this thing right here.
Right.
And I want people coming here.
Yeah.
I want people knowing like, yo, the DMV, that's where David Lloyd Marcus from.
Right.
And we can go there, and filmmaking is big there because there's so much talent here. So much talent here.
A lot of talent.
And I believe that, I say that we up next.
I was talking to another creative filmmaker and director and writer that, a lot of times we utilize the same people. Instead of saying there's this vast majority of people out here that we do want to give a chance to, or that, are very talented, experienced actors. A lot of times we don't see that. We stay within that melting pot.
Yeah.
What do you feel about, we have to venture out?
So I do a little bit of both, right? Because so far, this is my third feature coming up, and you'll see some people from previous films, but the leading roles in every film is different.
Different, yeah.
And it's because, like, I love y'all, but I'm not big on just casting because I know Derrick can act. Because you know me,
yeah.
Or just because I know he can act. I need to know that Derrick can play this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need to know Derrick can play that character.
Yeah.
So, and I just kind of wanted to be somewhat fresh and new opportunities, but at the same time, this is a grind, man. And it's like, we keeping it real. We not in the big $1 million budgets yet.
Yeah.
So if you gave me your time, I'm gonna give you as much exposure as I possibly can, because I remember how dedicated you are, and I remember my last hit was credited to you.
Mm-hmm.
You were a part of the reason it was a big deal. Yeah. People still talk about you in Life of an Alpha Male.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
2021, Life of an Alpha Male.
Yeah.
And that to me was so different from Walking My Shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I saw the growth in David Lloyd Marcus.
Thank you. As we should be.
As we should be.
Yeah, you shouldn't keep coming and seeing
with the same thing.
Every time you come to my premiere, you can expect the same thing or the same level of quality.
Right.
We should be growing from film to film.
And I saw the difference in the music, the acting, and everything. So you felt like this was something new. This was something fresh. And that's what's exciting about going to, your movies, because we get to experience that.
Thank you.
It's not the same old thing. I remember a lot of people still come to me about playing the waiter. And Alsam Amin, who played the lead character, he told me, I don't want to be in no more movies with you because you still the same. But it was one thing I loved about being in your movie and playing that part.
Mm-hmm.
I played the waiter. I don't even know if I even had a name. I know I was the waiter.
You didn't, the waiter.
I was the waiter.
You didn't have a name.
And David, you would be like, just do you.
Mm-hmm. I say, because you know the lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know the type of director I am. I'm not married to the script as long as it stays within the story, just because I know how the story. Sometimes people try to change too much, and it's like, no, I know why I had you say that line because it connects to something later down the line.
Yeah.
But I just was like, darn, do your thing. And what I want to say about that moment, you should have proven something to a lot of people around here, because sometimes people get in their little egos and feelings if they're not the lead. And what you showed is I could bring excellence to whatever I do, and I could be memorable no matter how big or small the role, because you talked about.
Yeah.
I still get texts about you. Like, when people was going to the theater, you were like one of my most common texts I would get. Like, oh my God, the waiter. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so it just goes to show that you can really bring an own. And, because I've had people turn down roles just because.
It wasn't.
And I'm
big
just like, yo, you don't even know this film grade be a smash.
Yeah.
And you could still kill that. And I chose you because I felt like you would be perfect for that part.
You don't know, like you said, you don't know the small role, how big of a role that you can make into it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You did it.
No small roles.
You did it. No small roles.
No small roles. You have Program coming up in 2025.
Yeah.
Tell us about Program. That's your new feature film that you're working on today.
Right. So Programmed is totally outside of the David Lloyd Marcus box of films, except for the fact that it's another thought-provoking film with a serious message. But this is like a drama, suspense, thriller that kind of touches just on society, some social issues, and our mindset. But to me, it's just done. I'm going to make this statement first. This is my first interview about it. We keep saying this is going to be the biggest cultural shift in film since Roots.
Oh, wow.
That's what we believe.
Okay.
Because it touches just modern day, how a lot of what happened then is still going on, but the effects of it today. But from all perspectives, like, it's not just good guy, bad guy, oppressor, this, and woe is me. Nah, we just took it a whole nother way. It is extremely creative, and the first project I've ever been nervous about putting out.
Let me ask you this, because like you say, putting out something like that since the controversy of Roots, how are you not afraid of cancel culture? Because somebody will find something and say, oh, you went too far, or oh, you this or you that. How will you deal with that?
Well, one thing I'm aware of is that you're gonna have critics no matter what.
Right.
And you're not gonna please everybody. But I feel like, and we're gonna see, that I was creative enough in how I wrote it to, as soon as you want to argue one point, as a rebuttal somewhere else where somebody could say, no, but did you see how we brought it home with this part?
Right.
And I think I did it in a way where you're gonna be able to feel it and feel empathetic and feel it's gonna be a lot of tears shed. It's gonna be, it's just heavy but entertaining. And I feel like it's gonna have you on the edge of your seat. And as far as like cancel culture, I just believe it's too much purpose behind it.
Okay.
So I don't mind.
And I like that you just said it because it led me into my next, because you had a quote and you say that you want to entertain with a purpose.
Yep. Because sometimes if it's all heavy, you lose a lot of the crowd. Because they're bored. Because people like the drama. People like to be entertained. People like the toxic stuff.
We live
you know?
in a reality
world. Think about it. They're the biggest shows.
Yeah.
All those toxic shows. Because my daughter loves Bad Girls Club. They love it. I didn't know how crazy it was till I sat and watched them with them one day. Yeah. And so, and they all this baddies and I'm like, okay, I want to do something for the youth with a message. So I'm gonna have to give them enough of relatable stuff in there where it's entertaining for them, but it's just jewels dropped all throughout where I'm planting seeds and they don't even know I'm planting seeds. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also you're an author. You, the one book you wrote, Relationships.
Yeah.
The Black Book.
Yeah.
Tell me about that book.
So I'm proud. Relationships, the Black Book, is my first book to hit any #1 category on Amazon ever. And yet it was free downloads. It's free books all across the country.
Right.
And I still hit #1
Yeah.
free downloads in that genre. And relationships is really just talking about how modern day relationships is a joke. And just how everybody says they want a healthy relationship, but I list all the ways that your behavior is counterproductive to wanting a healthy relationship. And so I almost called it the Black Mirror instead of the Black Book, because you see yourself when you read relationships.
Right.
Even if you look at my reviews online, you'll see that that's what a lot of people will say is like, man, this book smacked me around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I read a lot of the reviews
Yeah.
and heard a lot of people talking about it, but the reviews were, I'm telling you, a lot of men.
And I'm so glad, because I'm so glad you said that. I gotta look at the camera directly with that, because I wanted to write something for both genres, not just or both sexes, not just the women. Because men, I know when me and my ex-wife went to marriage counseling, and the books they gave us to read, I'm like, I ain't even feeling this, and I'm like, so I wrote my own. That's what relationships is. I wrote my own. So if you're in a marriage and you're going through it, you can be single, you can be in a relationship. It's something for everybody in there. Because I kind of then lived it all. So I said, let me drop the jewels and talk about it. And I wrote a whole book. My mom is 65 now. She reached out to me and said, boy, this is like 2 months ago. You put your foot in this book right here. She said, I'm mad that I'm taking advice from my son. She said, but you just was so on point. And I think my vulnerability in there, because I talked about myself a lot. That was my strategy. I figured if I say I did it, it doesn't sound like I'm sitting on this mountaintop saying, you guys need to do X, Y, Z. I'm saying I can tell y'all because this is how I messed up.
This is what and that's one thing about us as creators. You know, a lot of people, and they don't believe this about me, a lot of times I can be very introvert. You know, I can be in my house, not say a word to anybody. When I come out, then I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
And be happy. You can be in your house happy, not saying a word.
And not be a part of what's going on out there.
Me too.
But what I do is that I keep everything stored here. So then when I'm ready to write, it comes out and plays, and it comes out because I don't share a lot with people. But then I do share a lot
through your art.
through my heart,
and through
books.
your art. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you feel like that?
I do. And but I still feel like now people close to me, I'm kind of one of their favorite people to talk to because that vulnerability, I am vulnerable even in real talking to close friends. But I don't share a lot. Like Awesome, his biggest joke with me is, you're not gonna have a conversation with David, just a frivolous conversation.
Right.
It's gotta be about something or he's not talking to
Right.
you. Because I'm more, even though, and people see us how sociable we can be because we're friendly.
Right.
But they don't know that we really are truly introverts.
Yeah. People don't believe
And
that about me. I'm
reserved.
like,
Because I can sit in the cut at the same way I'm social and talking to all you, I can sit in the cut and do the same thing the entire event.
I will show up at an event. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And I will, well, I ain't gonna tell my secret.
Right.
I'll say,
right.
I'll say I'm going to the bathroom.
And you
Derrick is gone.
No, I'm glad I'm the privileged one that you'll let me know. You'll whisper in my ear, say, I'm just letting you know I'm good. Get up.
I'll be like, hey man, it was good to see you, but I'm about out of here. And it ain't got nothing to do with, I don't like what's going on or anything, but it's just, that's me. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And not trying to be bougie, not trying to be all that, but it's the fact that that's me.
Yeah, and you're not trying to be bougie, that's about you.
Yeah. That's my preference. You know, so I don't need all of the lights and all that kind of stuff. It's nice.
Yeah.
But when I've got done my moment, I'm up out of there.
For sure.
One thing I heard you talking about backstage is, because I do have a backstage, I'm just gonna let y'all know. We even have a green room and everything.
Right.
Talking with 3D Live. So anyway, you know, as a creator, as a writer, director, producer, so many people want to pull at you, but they realize that David has a life. David goes through things. We go through losses. We go through our own medical traumas. We have children. We have family. But they don't see that David is lifing also.
David is lifing also. You preaching right now. I'm like, go. I'm listening. No, they don't. Like I was saying backstage, but you still required to lead.
Yeah.
Through all of that. So you gotta like muster up like whatever strength you can to like, hey, I still have people counting on me. I still have 30 people in my play that I need to get to the finish. So it doesn't matter who just passed away that I know or what happened in my love life or if I lost my job or if I don't have two nickels to run together. Like, I just got to figure it out. I do like the character it builds though.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Even though like I'm
feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm somebody like that, you know, I can vent to you or you might call and vent to me, but when I get in my prayer closet and I'm like, all right, Lord, carry me again. And I realize how bigger and better I came from once I've gotten through that situation. And the wisdom that you gain.
Yeah.
Because you gain wisdom through all of that too, to be able to share with good friends and in the business too,
Yeah. Not to demasculize you, but when's the last time David Lloyd Marcus just had to cry? Because again, life is lifing.
So the last time I cried that I can remember would be in November when my uncle passed. Yeah, that would be. And that was, again, my uncle that gave me my first camera.
Yeah.
And just because I felt like, one, a piece of me died, but two, I wanted Uncle Mike to see program. I talked to him about it, and he was a contributor early on and getting me lights and things that I needed. And that moment that you talked about, I wanted him to see that moment.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he's gone, and then I had to switch my perspective, like, he's still living in me, man. It's my job to carry on and now really do it for Uncle Mike too.
Yeah.
And for all that he put in me so it wasn't in vain.
Because it's still a piece of him is a part of.
That's a part of what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? What's next for David Lloyd Marcus?
So my focus right now is finishing program, which will be, and this, I've experienced the most adversity ever shooting program. And instead of being like down and depressed about it, like losing people and just cast members, like I haven't had this much adversity shooting a film. I'm like, this is proof that there's purpose behind it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm experiencing all this adversity. So my focus is to film it, get it done, and then deal with, because I have some personal health things that's going on, and I want to go ahead and I wanted to get the film done before I address that, because I got to get surgery coming up soon. So I'm like, but I want it again. I even scheduled that out some. They gave me 2 different dates, just were a few weeks apart. And I said, I gotta finish leading first.
Yeah.
That's the things people don't realize.
Yeah.
It's like, and my cast don't even know, but I gotta finish, because they gave me that time, get that done first, and then I'll deal with my personal.
So dealing with medical issues and you know, a family and death in the family.
Yeah.
You know, I know that and it hasn't been recent, but sometime, you know, the loss of your
my closest friend. Yeah.
Your brother.
And that was rough. And then, like I said, between that and then Uncle Mike, and they were 2 of my biggest supporters. And that would give me their last to support what I'm doing. And it's like, but that's life. And I realize that even with my own health issues, like, it's not a pity party. None of us know when that is our time. That's why I believe you gotta go after whatever you're going after, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea I would be dealing with this.
Yeah.
But I believe I'm gonna come out even bigger and better.
Top.
Yeah, I do.
It's a purpose for everything.
I do. And I'm gonna be able to help somebody else going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. David, I'm telling you, it's been a joy. Look, I have a quick game, because you know me, I always like me a good game and everything. So this is, it's called the danger zone. So I'm just gonna hold up a card, and then you'll see, we won't use this one, but this is the winning word. So I gotta say this word, I cannot say this word.
So I have to make you say that word?
You have to make me say preschool, not kindergarten. So you have to make me say the yellow word, not the red word.
Got you.
You got me?
I think so.
Okay.
So if you say, okay, so the
danger word I cannot say. I have to say the yellow word.
And if you say the danger word, that card is out?
It's out.
I can say anything?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, you gotta get me to guess the yellow word.
Oh, I gotta give you?
So you have to tell me, give me the clue of what the yellow word is.
Oh, I have to give you a clue about the yellow word. The sea.
Does everyone see?
Yeah.
The winning word.
The sea, tentacles.
Octopus.
Sting.
Stingray.
Tentacles, sting.
Tentacles and sting.
Rubbery. Come near the shore. Come near the shore.
Mermaid.
What comes near the shore with tentacles that can sting you and it's rubbery? Think about it. And people tell you, hey, don't watch out for
jellyfish.
There you go.
Oh, Lord. Pass.
No. We wanted this for George.
Word.
We wanted this for George Floyd. We all wanted this for George Floyd.
To win. To.
What would you call that if you win? If you win it for George Floyd, what would you call that in one word?
Yeah, in court, and you want him to.
You said the danger word. It was justice for George Floyd.
Okay, last one.
Nick.
At night.
The show Wildin' Out. What's his name? Nick
Cannon.
There you go.
Okay. Listen, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping by, talking with 3D Live. It's always a joy, always a pleasure. You know, I'm dealing with some little health issues. You got some health issues, so I'm praying for you that everything works out and everything. Man. So, you know, that's something that we have to make sure that we do for one another.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Congratulations on everything that you are doing. And we look forward to the new feature film program that will be
All-Star Cast. All-star cast.
All-star cast, and we're looking for it. And I think everybody's going to be surprised of the people that are in this film.
Yes, they
so
are.
I don't even want to tell people
Right.
who's in it
I'm
right
not
now.
telling them either.
Yeah, but you will be surprised.
But we grew again.
Yes.
We're just saying that.
Growing again.
We're growing again, yeah.
Growing again. So, and I once again, I do have a pleasure of working with David in this film, and I have a different character. But
Totally different.
yes, so I do some things, but we want everybody to come out when we'll make sure that everyone is aware of when the film comes out. But we want to make sure, again, please make sure life is always lifing. Never give up on your dreams. Yes, people are going to pull. They're going to lie about you. They're going to talk about you. They're just going to do anything that they can to distract your purpose and your dreams. But you have to make sure that you keep on keeping on, because there's only one you. No one else has your skill or your talent. So remember that, and always remember to check out Talking with 3D every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again for watching. This is an IRoseFilms production. Go out, love somebody intentionally. Peace. Have a good one.